Good day everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I will be teaching you all about list comprehension in Python programming language. So what is list comprehension? List comprehension offers a shorter syntax when you want to create a new list based on the values of an existing list. We all know what a list is a Python sequence, and other Python sequences are string, tuples, range, stuff like that. So list is an example of list is something like this. You give it a variable name, let's say name, then list is always bounded by square brackets like this. Then whatsoever you want to do in a list come inside. Then you have names, let's say you have Jerry, in between double quotes, then comma, another name, color then other names like that, let's say John, then on and on like that. This is an example of a list. This name is a variable name and this is the list bounded by square brackets. And now, as we said earlier on, that a list comprehension offers a shorter syntax when you want to create a new list based on the value of an existing list. Meaning, you see this list here, this list that we've created here. If you want to use this name for something, you have to loop through this list, right? And how do you loop through a list? For names in name, which means for the names inside this name, variable name. Then let's say you want to do something with the names here. Let's say print name. Print names, right? If you run this code now, let's see what will happen. And you see, you printed the names inside this list to the console, right? But now let's say, for instance, we want to use this name as something. Let's say we want to say print name welcome. You can say printed it to the console, right? Jerry welcome, Colade welcome, John welcome, right? Okay. Now, what list comprehension does is it removes ambiguity of your code. It makes your code less ambiguous. Right? That means it reduces the number of lines of your code. Now, this code that you've written in these 2 lines, you can use 1 line of code to write it. How? Let's just say using list comprehension. And it says again, list comprehension offers a shorter syntax when you want to create a new list based on the values of an existing list. That means list comprehension will give us a shorter syntax, a shorter number of lines when you want to create a new list from an existing list. Meaning, if you want to create a new list from this existing list, let's use a list of numbers. That will explain it more better. A list of numbers, let's say numbers equals to list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a list holding numbers, right? Now let's say we want to loop through this list, and for each numbers inside this list, we are going to add 1 to it, right? So we are going to write obviously a for loop for number in numbers, right? That means for the numbers that are inside this list numbers, what should they do? Number plus 1. That means we are doing something to the numbers, and this will be stored inside variable new number. That means for the number inside this place, you should add 1 to it. Then after adding 1 to it, let's try and print it to the console. Print new number. By the way, the IDE I'm using is PyCharm. I'm using PyCharm for this code. Can you see? It printed 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Meaning, as it's looping through this list of numbers here, by the time it gets to 1, it will add another 1 to it, which gives birth to 2. Then 2 plus 1 give birth to 3. 3 plus 1 give birth to 4. Like that, like that, like that, and on. So when this comprehension comes in to reduce the number lines of code is, for instance now, this number of these numbers that are being printed to the console now, this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we want to turn it to a new list, right? Now, how do we do that? We first of all come up here and create a new list. New list equals to then initializing it as an empty list, right? Then you now have to come down here and say new list dot append, meaning you want to add this new number to this new list. So if you have to come down here and print new list, what do you think will be inside our new list? Sorry. What do you think will be inside our new list? Let's run this code. Can you see? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which are the numbers that were inside these numbers, and we added 1 to it. That means we are trying to create a new list from this existing list. And how are we doing that? Okay, and the new list that we want to create is going to contain numbers from the initial list that we created, but being increased by 1. Are you understanding? Now we looped through this list using the for loop, and for each number inside this list we added 1 to it, which gave birth to new number, right? Now the new list variable that we created up, we are adding the new number that we are getting to the list. Now you can see that this, for us to just create a new list from an existing list, we have to write how many number of lines of code. 1, 2, 3, 4 number of lines of code. Now this comprehension can now come in here, which will only give us just 1 line of code. And how does this comprehension work? This comprehension works like this: new list equals to curly braces. You know that list normally are being surrounded by curly bracket, not curly bracket, square brackets rather. And now you have your new item or whatsoever you want to do, new item. Then you have your for loop for item in list, right? Sorry. For item in list, and that is how your list comprehension works in. That means let's now replace everything inside this place with the correct item. This for loop here is trying to loop through the list that you want to create a new list from. Now this item is going to be our number, this number here. For number in this list is going to be the list that we want to create another list from, which is numbers, right? Numbers. Now this new item is what you want to do with the number that are being looped through. And what do you want to do with the numbers? Which is number plus 1, right? And that's all. Everything that you've written in this place is the same thing as this. Let me rename this as new list 2, then print new list 2. You see that what will be printed here and what is being printed here is going to be the same thing. Can you see? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So instead of writing this number of lines of code, you can just input and make use of list comprehension in your code. Remember the for loop to loop through your existing list, then what you want to do with the items inside your list will be written at the left hand side of the code, then the for loop will be at the right hand side. Then you make sure you surround all these codes with curly brackets. Sorry, why am I making mistake of curly brackets? Curly brackets is, I used a lot, that's why. Okay, you surround that line of code in your list comprehension with square brackets. Square brackets, don't forget, not curly brackets, square brackets, which indicating there is a list. You see that now, if I should check the type of this new list too, and how do you check the type of something? Print type list 2, new list 2 rather. I want to check the type of data type that this new list 2 is. So I'm to print this, what will it give us? And you see class list, that means this is a list. And you know what list comprehension said? Is a syntax, offers a shorter syntax when you want to create a new list based on the existing list, based on the existing value of another list, right? That means this is a list, and obviously this new list will also be a list. Let's check it. To check the type of the data type that it is, you use type, then bracket, then a list. Can you see also a list? And they are both doing the same thing. So instead of writing this number of lines of code, you can just make use of list comprehension like this. Okay, some of you now come ahead and ask, okay, what if you have a list of numbers which is 1, 2, 3 all the way to 10, right? Okay, so from this list of words, of numbers here rather, you want to create another list which is going to contain only even numbers from this list. Okay, how do you do that? Obviously you have a for loop for number in numbers, right? Then now remember, you want to get only even numbers. And how do you get even numbers? Okay, it's going to be number modulo 2, right? So you are obviously going to use an if statement here. If number modulo 2 is equals to 0, meaning by the time it's looping through these numbers here, by the time you pick one number divided by 2, if the remainder is 0, then that means it's an even number. By the time it's an even number, what should you do? You should add that number to a new list. Now our even number list is going to be initialized as empty, obviously. So by the time it gets old of that even number, you should add it to this even number list. How do you add it? Using even number list dot append number. Now what's this line of code doing? By the time it loops for number, oh sorry, it's not meant to be numbers, that's a mistake. It's meant to be list. Yeah, for number inside this list, what should you do? That means if each of the number inside this list, by the time you pick the first number, modulo 2 is equals to 0. That means any number divided by 2 that the remainder is 0 is obviously an even number. So we are trying to divide each number by 2, and this syntax here, we take hold of the remainder of the number. So if the remainder is equal to 0, that means it's an even number. But if it's not equal to 0, you're going to add that number to list, to even number list. So now this is how you get hold of the even numbers, right? Okay, let's print this even number list. Let's see what will be displayed. Okay, I'm coming. It's still print. Let me comment out all this so you won't be confused. Let's also print this list. so that we see the two and compare. Can you see? This is the initial list that we have, and now applying list comprehension, trying to create another list from this initial list that we have. And the next list that we want to create is going to hold even numbers, and you can see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Those are the even numbers in this initial list, and it's got the hold of it, right? You can also apply list comprehension to do this, and this type of list comprehension that you want to apply is called conditional list comprehension, because there's a conditional statement inside the for loop, right? Now how do you do that? It's still almost like the same thing. Our new even number list, right? Our new even number list is going to be the name of the new list that I want to create, right? Okay, then obviously surrounded by square brackets. Now remember that I said new item, then for item in list, this is the how the format the conditional list comprehension is going to be in. For item in list, then if item, the conditional statement will follow, which is if item in list, then it will do this item. How this statement work is you first loop through the list, and after looping through the list, it's going to perform the conditional statement, and after performing the conditional statement, it's going to come and perform the operation here. And how do you do that? Let's replace all these things, which is going to be for number in list. Obviously there is still list, so that will remain the same. And remember that our conditional statement here is if number modulo 2 is equals to 0, that's to get the even number. So you come here and put the same thing here. This is going to be if number modulo 2 equals to 0, then what should we do? Remember, in this list comprehension, this one is not going to have the name of the variable of the new list then dot append. No, why we are using dot append is because the new list we are trying to create is somewhere else. We've created it somewhere else, so we are just getting hold of the value and adding it into that list. So to add it, we need append. But now here we are just using just one line of code to create it, and our new list variable name is still the same thing I'm going to use. So therefore we are just going to put the operation there. The operation you want to be performed, right? And the operation you want to be performed here is what? The value, which is going to be the number. Yeah, that means that number that is an even number is going to be what's going to be contained inside this list. So let's print this and see what will happen. Name is going to be the same thing with what we've written before. With this line of code here, print new even number list. Let's run this code and see if they will be the same. Can you see? They are the same. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, which is our list comprehension, our conditional list comprehension. This is it. Can you see? Just using this one line of code, you can achieve what feels like 4 lines using here. This is all about list comprehension that I want to teach you inside this video. So if you need more clarification about list comprehension, you can always go to Stack Overflow. If you find like you are stuck, Stack Overflow is there. There are AIs that can help you, ChatGPT, stuff like that. So if you have the correct prompt message, tell it, you give it the code, then you tell it to explain to you. It's obviously going to explain to you, like tell it to break it down. You can make use of these AIs for betterment of your skills, to improve your skills, right? Yes. And if this video was helpful and you enjoyed it, you can just click on the like button, share and subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you are new to this YouTube channel, Thank you for watching. Enjoy your day.